It was a warm April night in Konoha, and Sakura sat alone in her apartment. The young medic Nin was silent, perched on the edge of her bed. Outside, voices drifted faintly through her window, distant, fading in and out, until they blurred altogether. Her mind spiraled with what-ifs, teetering on the edge of panic. Just as a wave of anxiety threatened to drown her, a sudden burst of laughter from the street jolted her back. She blinked, disoriented, realizing she wasn't sure how long she'd been sitting like that. Her cheeks were streaked with the remnants of long dried tears, and she gripped the sheets beneath her tightly, trying to steady herself. Breathe, Sakura. Breathe. Ripping your sheets won't help anything. She exhaled slowly and glanced down at her bare feet, swinging lightly above the floor. Her stomach twisted, and she clenched her jaw to keep herself from throwing up right then and there. The nausea passed, slowly. Sakura rose and headed to the kitchen. Food was out of the question, but a cup of chamomile tea might help. She rummaged through her cabinets until she found the kettle buried behind bento boxes and pans. After rinsing it out, she set it on the stove and lit the burner before heading back to her room. I need to talk to someone, she whispered, pulling her cell phone off her nightstand. There's only one person who'll know what to say. She scrolled through her contacts until she found Ino, except instead of her blonde best friend, the photo on screen was a snapshot of Tonton from last summer. Ino would lose it if she saw this, Sakura muttered with a faint smile. At least I got Tonton's good side. But her amusement vanished when her eyes caught something lying on her bed, the pregnancy test she'd taken earlier. Still positive. Back in the kitchen, she turned off the flame to let the tea steep and pulled out 2 cups. Just as she moved to sit down, a loud knock rattled her front door. Sakura rolled her eyes. Good grief, Ino, hold on. She opened the door to find a slightly frazzled Ino on the other side. This better be important, Ino huffed, brushing past her. I was on my way to meet Tenten. You said you weren't feeling well earlier. Fine, sure, but now you want a house call. I called because you're my best friend, Sakura said, her voice low. I don't know who else to turn to. Ino paused mid-sigh, the sarcasm leaving her face. Oh, she said quietly. I could have gone to Tsunade-sama, but this is personal. Too personal. Well, now I feel like a total bitch, Ino said, her voice softening. What's wrong? Sakura didn't answer. Instead, she flung her arms around Ino and burst into tears. Ino stumbled from the force of it. Sakura always forgot her own strength, but quickly wrapped her arms around her trembling friend. I don't know what I'm going to do, Sakura sobbed into her shoulder. Okay, now you're really freaking me out, Ino said. What happened? Sakura mumbled something incoherent, tears muffling her words. Ino gently pulled her back, gripping her by the shoulders. The kettle whistled sharply. All right, Missy, we're talking this out, Ino said, guiding her to the kitchen. Once she had Sakura seated, Ino poured the tea and brought it to the table. They sat in silence, sipping slowly, letting the warmth calm the edge off the moment. So, Ino prompted. Sakura met her gaze with a sigh. It's about Naruto and me. Ino's eyes narrowed. Did that idiot break up with you? Because if he did, I swear. No. Nothing like that, Sakura cut in. We're happy. Really. Then what is it? Sakura hesitated. Well, I'm pregnant, Sakura blurted. She flinched at her own volume. You're what? Ino shrieked, leaping up from her chair. Naruto knocked you up. Keep your voice down, Sakura hissed. I don't need the whole building knowing. Sorry. But wow. This is the last thing I expected today. Trust me, I didn't see it coming either. I thought you were on the pill. I was. And Naruto always uses a condom. I don't know what happened. The room fell quiet. After a few moments, Ino sat back down, looking uncharacteristically serious. So, are you going to keep it? Sakura stared at her tea, then nodded. Of course I am. I never even considered not keeping it. Then what's the problem? You and Naruto are in love. You're in a good place. Yeah, you're young, but it's not like you're doing this alone. Naruto will be thrilled. Sakura didn't reply. Her fingers traced the rim of her teacup. You are going to tell him, right? That's the part I'm scared of, Sakura admitted. He's so close to everything he's ever wanted, becoming Hokage. Tsunade-sama already told him he's starting training soon. What if this delays all of that? Ino frowned. But why would it? Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean he has to give up on everything. I know, Sakura said quietly. But it feels like I'm going to be the one holding him back. I know Naruto's going to start taking more missions to help support me, Sakura said softly. But that's going to leave him with zero time to train with Tsunade-sama. Ino tilted her head. You know she'd make an exception for you guys, right? I know she would, but you're just a bundle of stress right now, huh? Sakura let out a shaky breath. It's all just so much, Ino. A baby changes everything. I don't have a plan. We're going to be responsible for an actual person, and I'm not even sure how I feel about being a mom. Okay, pause. Deep breath. You're spiraling. Sakura inhaled and exhaled slowly. Better? Ino asked. Look, I get that your brain is doing cartwheels right now. But you shouldn't be scared to tell Naruto. I know, Sakura murmured. He loves you, forehead. You're his whole world. He's not going to flip out. And hey, it's not like you got pregnant on your own. You guys used protection, sometimes that just doesn't cut it. This baby wasn't planned, but maybe it's meant to be. That's kind of amazing when you think about it. Sakura blinked back a few more tears and smiled. I never thought of it that way. Thanks, Ino. I know I messed up your plans with Tenten, but I'm really glad you came. You didn't mess up anything, Ino said with a smirk. Truth is, Tenten bailed on me last minute. I just didn't want to admit I was stuck at home in my pajamas watching reruns of Ninja Kitchen Nightmares. I took it out on you and I'm sorry. Oh my god, you're unbelievable, Sakura said, lightly swatting her arm. A bit of silence passed, then they both burst into laughter, the kind only best friends could share. Ino felt the tension in the room finally lift a little, and it warmed her to see Sakura smile again. Listen, Ino said. We fight, we tease, but I've never doubted that you'll be an amazing mom. And that goofy boyfriend of yours. He's going to make a great dad. Thanks, Ino. They chatted for a while longer at the kitchen table before migrating to Sakura's room, where Ino sprawled dramatically across the bed like it was her own. Sakura sat beside her, hugging a pillow. So, where is Naruto anyway? Haven't seen him around, Ino asked, making herself comfortable. He's on an S-rank mission in Suna. Recon or something, but I don't know the details. He's already been gone for 3 weeks. Same with Shikamaru, Ino said, perking up. Also S-rank, super secret. Can't be a coincidence. Think they're together. Probably. They've gotten pretty close over the years. Please, those two are in a full-blown bromance. Sakura giggled. So, Ino began, eyes gleaming, how are you going to tell Naruto the big news? Sakura's smile vanished. She fell backward, clutching her pillow. Ugh. I've been so caught up in the shock, I haven't even thought about it. Part of me wants to just blurt it out, but that might literally give him a heart attack. Yeah, let's not the poor guy, Ino laughed. Here's what I think. Wait till he's home and settled. Let him get back into his routine, and then ease him into it. You think that'll work? It's a guy thing, Ino said as she casually braided a lock of her hair. Routine is like sacred. Let him land before dropping the bomb. Sakura peeked out from under her pillow fortress. I guess that makes sense. A moment of silence. So, Ino grinned wickedly, patting the bed beside her. Was this bun in the oven made here, or at Naruto's place? Sakura's head snapped toward her, scandalized. Ino. What? Ino said, laughing as Sakura chucked the pillow at her face. We talk about everything, why get shy now? You're asking me where my child was conceived. And we are not having this conversation, Sakura said, grinning despite herself. Oh come on, spill. I always tell you stuff about Shikamaru. Yeah, and I never ask you to. Sakura gave her a playful shove. It was here, wasn't it? Ino teased with a smug smile. Sakura's face flushed with embarrassment as she buried it in her hands. Ino, already sprawled out on the bed, couldn't stop laughing. Oh my god, Ino, please stop, Sakura groaned, covering her ears. I don't want to hear this. You are ridiculous, Ino cackled. Look at you, acting all innocent now. You're the last person who should be blushing when it comes to. I am not. Oh, please. Everyone's seen those bite marks on your neck. Don't think you've been slick. Ino. I'm just saying. She grinned. Honestly, I give you props. Getting bitten looks like it hurts, but also kinda hot. I mean, Naruto's one with the QB now. He's got to be a total beast in bed. You have no idea, Sakura muttered without thinking. Ino shot up. Excuse me. Sakura laughed, finally giving in. Well, maybe don't act so surprised. That's not my fault, Miss Prudy Pie. The two dissolved into laughter again. Sakura felt lighter, calmer, almost normal. Ino's presence was like a balm, her teasing and blunt honesty a welcome distraction. But she knew the comfort wouldn't last. When Ino left, all the fears and questions would creep back in. Still, for tonight, she didn't want to think about it. She wanted to end the night on a good note. Tomorrow could wait. The soft light of morning slipped through the curtains. Sakura blinked her eyes open, instinctively rolling over to find the other side of the bed empty. She stared at the vacant space where she half expected Naruto to be, then sighed. Dragging herself out of bed, she crossed the room and opened the window. A breeze drifted in, cool and clean, fluttering her pink hair. The sky was soft and blue, like a watercolor wash. For a moment, everything felt still. She was pregnant. There was no denying it anymore. No running from it. Ino had stayed late the night before, even though she couldn't spend the night. Something about having to open the flower shop early. But before she'd left, she'd promised to keep Sakura's secret. And Sakura trusted her. The last thing she needed was Naruto hearing the news through the grapevine. As she made her way to the bathroom, Sakura caught her reflection in the mirror. Her fingers instinctively drifted to her flat stomach. She stood there for a long time, just looking. This is really going to ruin my figure, she sighed. She touched her belly more gently this time, her fingertips brushing over her skin. You're really in there, huh? She whispered. And just like that, the fear started to fade again. Ino had been right. Naruto wouldn't be angry. He'd step up. He always did. Every quality that made him a great shinobi would make him an even better father. Just wait until you meet your daddy, Sakura murmured, a small smile tugging at her lips. He's the best. The day was beautiful, deceptively so. The sun was out, the wind was soft, and the air smelled of summer. But as Sakura made her way toward the Hokage Tower, her chest felt heavier with each step. She'd made up her mind during her shower. Tsunade needed to know. As her mentor and her doctor, it was only right. But that didn't make it easier. She wasn't afraid of Tsunade, not really. But she was afraid of disappointing her. That fear twisted in her stomach and made her heart race as she climbed the endless steps to the Hokage's office. Each one brought her closer to the conversation she'd been dreading. Maybe this was a mistake. Sakura stood frozen at the top of the stairs, staring down the long hallway like it was a battlefield. Maybe I should just wait until Naruto comes home, and we'll tell her together. But even as the thought formed, she knew it was too late for that. She'd already waited too long to take the test. Too long to face it. And Naruto, he could be gone for days still. Maybe weeks. She couldn't risk it. The hallway felt too quiet. Each step sounded too loud. Her palms were damp, and her chest ached with nerves as she approached the tall, heavy doors of Tsunade's office. Just as her hand hovered to knock, a voice called from within. Come in. Sakura froze. Of course she knows I'm here, she thought as she pushed open the door. She always knows. Tsunade didn't look up right away. Her desk was buried under scrolls, forms, and the ever-growing mountain of Hokage duties. Still, her presence filled the room with authority, and something warmer. Sakura. Tsunade finally glanced up, raising a brow. It's your day off. Why are you here? I just thought, since Shizune's out, maybe you could use a hand. Sakura's voice cracked halfway through. Tsunade leaned back in her chair, arms folding under her chest as she studied the younger woman. Thoughtful of you. But that's not why you're here, is it? She gave a small smile. You're here because of something else. Something life-changing. Like a baby. Sakura's heart dropped into her stomach. Her mouth went dry. How did you? Well, Tsunade said calmly, standing and walking to the window, well now I know for certain. The silence that followed was thunderous. Sakura's cheeks burned with humiliation. She looked down, gripping her hands in front of her. I didn't mean to hide it. I just found out for sure yesterday. You don't need to explain. Tsunade's voice was quiet but firm. But honestly, Sakura, did you really think I wouldn't notice the changes? Your breathing's been off. You've had trouble focusing, and I saw how pale you looked last week. I can read your body like a chart. Sakura's chest tightened as guilt flooded her. Her voice broke as she bowed deeply. I'm sorry. I never wanted to disappoint you. The soft sound of Tsunade's sandals crossing the floor pulled Sakura's breath into her throat. She expected a reprimand, but instead, a gentle hand landed on her shoulder. She looked up, surprised to see the warm, familiar strength in Tsunade's eyes. Disappoint me. Sakura, she pulled her student into a hug. You're not a child anymore. You're 20 years old. You're young, yes, but you're an adult. And adults make hard choices, face real consequences, and sometimes, Tsunade chuckled softly, fall hopelessly in love. Sakura's throat clenched. The hug said more than words, and it was almost enough to unravel her. But we were careful, Sakura whispered when they pulled apart. We were. We always used protection. I didn't think this could even happen. Tsunade gave her a knowing look. Nothing's ever guaranteed, Sakura. You did what you could. But life has its own plans sometimes. Sakura hesitated. So you're really not mad? I'm not mad. Tsunade sighed, her expression softening. Would I have wanted you to wait until you were a bit older? Sure. Both you and Naruto are just getting started with your careers. But that doesn't mean I'm upset. It just means things are going to change. Especially your shinobi duties, for a while. Sakura's smile faltered. That word, change, hit a little too hard. It's not me I'm worried about, she admitted quietly. It's Naruto. This is going to change everything for him. His dream, it means everything to him. And now I'm just going to hold him back. Tsunade shook her head, stepping close again. No, you won't. And don't say that. Naruto has faced more obstacles than anyone I know. This won't break him. If anything, it'll strengthen him. And you know damn well I'd still make him Hokage, child or not. We'll find a way. Together. Tears welled in Sakura's eyes, and she wiped them away, a few escaping anyway. Thank you, Tsunade-sama. I needed to hear that more than I realized. I'm not going anywhere, Tsunade said, placing a hand over Sakura's. You'll have me at every step. But right now, we've got a little one to start looking after. She moved back to her desk, scribbling quickly on a notepad. When she tore the sheet free and handed it to Sakura, it looked like any other list of errands. I included some prenatal vitamins. Take this to the pharmacy department, but it'll look like you're just doing a quick errand for me. No one will suspect a thing. Sakura took the paper and gave a grateful nod. You really thought of everything. It was a warm night in Konoha, the vibrant day having faded into a calm, starlit sky. Naruto and Shikamaru walked side by side in a comfortable silence, each step bringing them closer to the familiar comfort of home. After 3 long weeks away, the idea of collapsing into their own beds was a dream neither of them wanted to delay. Man, this mission was a long one, Naruto yawned, stretching his arms behind his head. Tell me about it, Shikamaru muttered. The worst part wasn't even the mission, it was the travel. 3 days to Suna, 3 days back, brutal. Naruto smirked. At least your ex-girlfriend was thrilled to see you. For the last time, Naruto, Shikamaru sighed, Temari is not my ex. We never dated. Alright, so it wasn't official. But don't act like she's not still into you. I can't control how she feels, Shikamaru said coolly. No, but you could have been a thing. You at least gotta admit that. Shikamaru gave a small shrug. I won't deny that our paths could have gone a different way. But they didn't. And I'm not about to mess up what I have now. Naruto grinned. Yeah, I know you wouldn't break Ino's heart. She'd you. She would, Shikamaru said with a smirk. No doubt in my mind. But I wouldn't hurt her. I love her. Look at you, getting all soft on me, Mr. Sensitive, Naruto teased, nudging him in the ribs. Yeah, whatever. Naruto laughed. Shikamaru didn't usually talk about his feelings, especially when it came to Ino, so any moment like this was golden. He could poke fun all he wanted, but really, it was nice to see his friend so secure and happy. As Konoha came into view, Naruto's steps quickened. Thoughts of Sakura filled his head, her smile, her voice, her arms wrapped around him after so long apart. He was so lost in his daydream that he didn't notice Kiba sneak up beside him, until he was shoved hard on the shoulder. Hey there, lover boy, Kiba snickered. I can see the hearts floating around your head. Naruto rolled his eyes and punched him lightly in the arm. Ow. What the hell, jackass? Kiba laughed. What? You can dish it out but you can't take it. Naruto replied, cracking his knuckles with exaggerated flair. Will you two knock it off? Shikamaru groaned. Hey, don't look at me, Naruto said. Kiba started it. Yeah, and you kept it going, Shikamaru replied. Whose side are you on, anyway? Naruto asked. I'm just defending myself. He's the one being a pest. Kiba's smirk faded a little. He glanced between the two of them and frowned. Geez, I was just teasing. You guys don't have to bite my head off. We're just tired, Shikamaru said, rubbing the back of his neck. And let's face it, we've been around each other non-stop for weeks. No offense, but we could all use a break. You sure it's just that? Kiba shot back. 'Cause it kinda sounds like you're both cranky from not getting any for 3 weeks. Wow. Real classy, Kiba, Shikamaru muttered. He brushed the comment off, but Naruto didn't. His expression darkened, and he turned toward Kiba with a scowl. Maybe if you had a girlfriend, you'd understand, you mangy mutt. That struck a nerve. Kiba's face flushed red, and his jaw clenched. Without another word, he jumped up onto Akamaru's back. You know what? Maybe Shikamaru's right. I've had enough of you two. He snapped, and before either of them could respond, he sped off into the night. Naruto stared after him, still fuming. The feeling's mutual. Can you believe that guy? Shikamaru sighed. Don't let it get to you. He's just tired. Same as us. Yeah, I know, Naruto grumbled, adjusting his backpack. But man, he really knows how to push my buttons. That's because you make it easy for him, Shikamaru said flatly. You walk right into it every time. Naruto huffed. Do not. You do. He throws a little bait, and you take it every time like a starving fish. Naruto didn't reply. He just kept walking, grumbling under his breath. And let's not forget, Shikamaru added, you're both insanely stubborn. That's half the reason we even have these moments. Ugh, I guess you're right, Naruto admitted. Of course I'm right, Shikamaru said with a smug glance. But there's more to it. Naruto arched an eyebrow. More. Kiba's frustrated. He wanted to ask Hinata out before we left, but he chickened out. Naruto blinked. Wait, seriously? Yeah. Shino told me. He'd been working up the nerve for weeks. Then we left, and he never did it. So now, instead of going home to a girl waiting for him, he's going home with nothing but regret. Naruto winced. Well, now I feel like a total jerk for what I said. It's done, Shikamaru said with a shrug. But try to understand, he's not just mad at us. He's mad at himself. And maybe a little jealous. Jealous. Shikamaru glanced at him knowingly. He still thinks you might steal Hinata away. Naruto's eyes widened. What? Why would he think that? I'd never. I know that. You know that. But insecurities don't always listen to logic. I guess, Naruto muttered, kicking a small rock along the path, but thinking I'd go for Hinata, or that she'd still be into me, is just stupid. Shikamaru gave him a sideways look. Are you serious right now? It's beyond obvious Hinata still has feelings for you. Naruto frowned. No, she doesn't. Shikamaru stopped walking for half a second, then kept going. God, you really are an idiot sometimes. Hey, watch it, Naruto snapped, his brow twitching. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. How can you honestly say Hinata doesn't have feelings for you? I'm with Sakura-chan, Naruto said, a little defensive now. Isn't that enough of a hint that I'm not interested in anyone else? Shikamaru sighed through his nose. Look, I'm not gonna get into a whole thing with you, but Hinata's feelings are real. Kiba knows that. That's why he's so wound up. He thinks he doesn't stand a chance. Naruto scowled. I wouldn't stand in his way. He's the idiot if he thinks I would. Maybe. But maybe you should talk to Hinata. What? Why? I don't know, Shikamaru said dryly. Maybe to give her some actual closure. Naruto looked confused. Closure. It's not like I led her on or anything. No one's saying you did. But you never talked to her after the whole pain incident, did you? Naruto scratched the back of his head. No, I figured after everything settled down, we were good. She literally told you she loved you while putting her life on the line. What part of that says we're good, Naruto? Naruto winced. Okay, well, when you put it like that, I sound like an. You said it, not me. Hey. Naruto protested, elbowing him. Shikamaru raised his hands in mock surrender before dropping them back into his pockets. Naruto's expression softened. The guilt started to settle in as the truth of Shikamaru's words sank in. I didn't mean to ignore her. There was just a lot going on. Talking about feelings wasn't exactly at the top of my list back then. It's amazing how dense you can be, Shikamaru muttered with a smirk. Whatever, Naruto grumbled as they passed through the gates of Konoha, the soft glow of the village welcoming them home. Don't get your boxers in a twist, Shikamaru said. I was just making a suggestion. One that could help out two of our friends. And isn't that your thing? You know, believe it, the power of friendship and all that. All right, I get it already. Naruto groaned. I'll talk to her, when I get the chance. Shikamaru chuckled quietly as they slowed near the front of the village. They stopped to wait for the last member of their team, Kakashi, who was still nose-deep in his book, completely unaware they'd arrived. Naruto cleared his throat loudly. You know, Kakashi-sensei, you've read all of Ero Sennin's books a million times. Why do you still act like it's your first time? Kakashi glanced up and smiled, snapping the book shut with exaggerated reverence. Well, Naruto, the answer is simple. Every time I read one of Jiraiya-sama's books, it's like a whole new story. He was an inspirational author. It's only right that I honor his memory by continuing to read his masterpieces. Naruto raised a brow. Okay, now you're just being ridiculous. Everyone knows those books are just the fantasies of a super pervy old man. To each their own, Kakashi replied calmly, tucking the book into his knapsack. Besides, I'm sure Jiraiya-sama would have been thrilled to know his dramatic tales of love and heartbreak are still alive and well. Naruto and Shikamaru both stared at him. What? Kakashi asked, blinking under the weight of their silence. Realizing he had an audience, he coughed lightly and straightened up. Anyway, I'll go report to Tsunade-sama and give her the mission debrief. I know you two have better things to do, like spending time with two very lovely ladies. With a flash of hand signs, he vanished in a puff of smoke, leaving the two younger shinobi standing in the village square. Naruto let out a long yawn and stretched his arms over his head. Shikamaru glanced up at the clock outside a nearby restaurant. It's 9 p.m. already. I should head out. Are you heading to Sakura's? Shikamaru asked. Nah, I'm stopping by Ino's flower shop first, Naruto said. I wanted to get Sakura-chan some flowers. Shikamaru smirked. Didn't see that coming. Naruto grinned. Sure you didn't. Alright, well, can you give Ino a message for me? Naruto chuckled. Let me guess. Same as always. Pretty much. Consider it done, Naruto said, offering a lazy wave as Shikamaru headed off. The warm scent of cut flowers filled the air as Naruto pushed open the door to the Yamanaka flower shop. He was glad they were still open. The store was bright, colorful, and filled with blooms of every kind. He spotted Ino helping an elderly woman across the room and decided to wait. She wrapped up a bouquet with practiced ease. I'll meet you at the register, Mom, she said kindly, walking toward the counter. Oh, dear, one more thing. The woman called. Could I add a dozen jade lilacs? They're near the register. I'll add them to your order, Ino called over her shoulder as she continued walking, then smack, she felt like she hit a brick wall. She bounced off him like she'd hit a wall. Two hands steadied her. Oh man, Ino, I should have moved or said something. Sorry, Naruto said sheepishly. Ino blinked, then lit up. Naruto, you're back. Before he could react, she threw one arm around his neck and hugged him tightly. Naruto froze, face heating up. Ino smelled like gardenia and fresh air, and the closeness caught him off guard. Sakura's really missed you, she said, holding him close. I've missed her too, Naruto replied, still a little stunned. She needs you, Ino whispered. Wait, why? Is something wrong with Sakura-chan? Ino pulled back, realizing she'd said too much. No, nothing serious. She's just been stressed. Lots of patients lately. Long hours at the hospital. It wasn't a lie. But it wasn't the full truth either. Let me help this customer, then I'll help you pick something out, she added, giving him a nudge toward the counter. Naruto followed. The elderly woman was finishing her purchase, and just as she picked up her bag, Ino offered help. Are you sure you don't want me to carry it out? Before the woman could answer, Naruto took the bag from her hands. Oh my. If it isn't Uzumaki Naruto, she said with a smile. You've turned into such a handsome young man. Naruto blushed. Hey, thank you, Mom. You've got excellent manners too, she added, taking his arm as they walked toward the door. You're a catch. Ino smirked, watching them go. Don't worry, I've got just the thing, she murmured once they were out of sight. Especially since some flowers aren't ideal for pregnant women. Naruto returned a few minutes later, waving goodbye as the old woman disappeared around the corner with her cart. Inside, Ino was wrapping up a bouquet at the register. Here, she said, handing him the flowers. Pink carnations. Soft, sweet, and perfect for Sakura. Naruto slid his backpack off his shoulder, digging for his wallet. How much? They're on the house tonight, lover boy. He looked up, surprised. You sure? I don't want you to get in trouble with your folks. I'll be fine. Call it your reward for helping that sweet old lady, and for being the reason I'm finally closing this shop. My parents dumped a double shift on me today. Naruto laughed, tucking the bouquet safely under one arm. Well, thanks, Ino. You're a lifesaver. Naruto tucked his wallet back into his backpack and slung it over his shoulder. Oh, that reminds me, Shikamaru said to tell you he's checking in and he'll be here in time to walk you home. Ino smiled. She knew exactly what that meant. It was Shikamaru's quiet tradition. Every time he returned from a mission, he had someone pass along the same message. Ever since Asuma's death, he made it a point to check on Kurenai and her daughter, just as he'd promised on his sensei's deathbed. Thanks, Naruto, she said, glancing at the clock behind the register. It was already 9:30 p.m. I've got 30 minutes to close up. You better get going too. Sakura's going to be over the moon when she sees you. Naruto grinned and backed toward the door. Thanks, Ino. You're the best. He darted out of the shop, leaping onto a nearby rooftop. Ino watched him disappear into the night sky and giggled softly to herself. Naruto slipped into Sakura's room, a soft breeze from the open window brushing over him as he revealed the carnations from behind his back. He stepped forward with a shy grin. Here, Sakura-chan. I got these for. He didn't finish. Sakura launched into him like a missile, knocking him to the floor with a loud thud. In an instant, she straddled him, her lips crashing against his in a fervent, breath-stealing kiss. Naruto's eyes flew open, but he quickly melted into her touch, returning her kisses with the same fevered hunger. Sakura ground herself roughly against the bulge in his pants, and Naruto let out a low, helpless groan into her mouth. That sound sent delicious shivers through her. Sakura pulled back for just a breath, hovering over him with her hands planted on his chest. Her lips were red and slightly swollen, her breathing quick and shallow. Naruto stared up at her, dazed and flushed, his golden hair fanned out against the floor. I missed you, she whispered, eyes roaming his face. I missed this. Naruto's lips curled into a soft grin even as his heart pounded. You missed tackling me to the floor. She leaned down and kissed the corner of his mouth, slow and teasing. Don't pretend you don't like it. I mean, I do, he chuckled, his voice dropping as his hands slid up her thighs. But damn, Sakura-chan, you nearly broke my spine. She rocked her hips into his again, and his breath hitched. You'll live. Naruto's eyes darkened with heat. You're seriously trying to me tonight. Sakura kissed him again, slower this time, her tongue brushing lightly against his. You've been gone for 3 weeks. You tell me how I'm supposed to act when the man I love shows up looking like a damn fantasy with flowers in his hands. Naruto groaned as her hands wandered up under his jacket, fingers splaying across his chest. I didn't think it was possible to miss you this much. That's because you've never gone this long without me, she whispered, dragging her lips down his jaw. He grinned, but it faltered the moment she bit his earlobe. Sakura. She smiled against his skin and nuzzled into the curve of his neck. You smell like sweat and sun and trouble. I'm addicted. You're seriously dangerous. And you love it. He couldn't argue that, especially not when she rolled her hips again. His hands gripped her waist tightly, his control already slipping. He squeezed her hips tighter in response to her teasing. She always knew how to get under his skin. But he was growing impatient. With a firm grip, Naruto pulled her down hard against his crotch. She gasped against his mouth, just as he claimed it again, this time deeper, hotter. Sakura moaned into the kiss and tangled her fingers into his hair. His forehead protector slipped off and hit the floor with a soft clink. She trailed her lips to his neck, tasting the salt of dried sweat from his mission. It only made her want him more. Her hands roamed down his chest, tugging at his jacket zipper and pushing the fabric aside. At the same time, Naruto slid his hands beneath her shirt, his fingers finding her ass. He cupped them gently, thumbs brushing her already sensitive nipples. She whimpered and arched into him. Naruto. God, I forgot how big you get when you're this turned on, Sakura whispered against his ear, stroking him firmly through the fabric. Naruto let out a low, guttural sound, hips twitching upward into her hand. You keep touching me like that, Sakura-chan, and I won't last long enough to take my time with you. Oh, she teased, her voice like velvet and fire. Is Konoha's hero going to lose control already? That doesn't sound very Hokage-worthy. He snarled playfully and flipped her onto her back, pinning her wrists above her head with one hand. His other hand slipped between her legs, fingers grazing the soaked fabric of her thong. I'll show you control, he growled into her ear, when I make you scream my name so loud the neighbors file complaints. Sakura bit her lip and arched her back, breathless. Then what are you waiting for? He grinned at the sound of her voice. Her hand slid down between them, grabbing the rigid length of his through his pants. Naruto growled and bit into her neck, his sharpened canines leaving a mark. She flinched but didn't stop. The sensation, the scent of her blood, awakened something deeper. Kurama stirred within him, but there was no fear. Naruto had long mastered the bond with the demon fox. They were one. And that feral connection came to life in moments like these. Sakura unzipped his pants and reached into his boxers, wrapping her hand around his thick, pulsing. She pulled it free, stroking him while massaging his balls. Naruto groaned against her skin, the metallic tang of her blood filling his mouth. Again, something was different about her scent, even the taste of her blood was somehow changed and it made his head spin. He released her neck and licked the bite mark tenderly, growling low. Sakura writhed beneath him, her breath catching as she flexed her wrists under his grip. She looked up at him, flushed and eager, her thighs squeezing around his waist. Let go, she whispered, voice husky with want. Naruto obeyed, releasing her hands. In a flash, she pushed herself up, straddling his hips with purpose and pressing her chest to his as she captured his mouth in another heated kiss. Her hand slid between them, wrapping around his thick length with a slow, purposeful stroke. You give so much to the village, Naruto. Let me give something back to you tonight, she purred. Naruto sat up, brushing his nose against hers. His eyes burned with hunger and affection. He peeled off his jacket and undershirt, letting them fall to the floor. Sakura's eyes raked over his chiseled frame. You like what you see, Sakura-chan. She grinned and pushed him back down. Leaning forward, she licked slowly up his abs, stopping at his chin. What do you think? She purred. Without breaking eye contact, she moved between his legs and wrapped her lips around the head of his. She kissed and licked him teasingly, inch by inch, until he was moaning and fisting the carpet. Sakura-chan. She took him deeper, her throat flexing around him as she bobbed her head. Naruto tangled his fingers in her hair, gently urging her down. She nearly gagged but steadied herself, letting her tongue swirl and massage him with every stroke. He could smell her arousal pouring down her thighs. Her need mirrored his own. The scent was familiar and yet there was something different about it. With a growl, Naruto sat up and flipped her beneath him. She barely had time to react before he turned her over onto all fours. He yanked her shirt up and to the side, exposing her soaked thong. One hand dragged along her spine, the other pushed her panties aside. He guided his to her dripping entrance and thrust in, making her gasp. Naruto gripped her hips tightly, ing her with all the pent-up intensity of weeks apart. The scent of her, the feel of her tight around him, it was all too much. He leaned over her, hands sliding up to cup her ass. His thrusts grew deeper, harder. God, I missed you, Sakura-chan. I missed you too. Harder, Naruto, please. He obliged, pounding into her relentlessly. Her arms gave out and she clawed at the carpet for support, crying out with every thrust. You're so wet, he growled, so imperfect. Sakura trembled under him, her moans rising to screams. She came hard, juices soaking his thighs. Naruto followed with a final, deep thrust, roaring her name as he spilled inside her. They collapsed in a tangled heap, panting. Minutes passed before either of them could speak. Are you all right, Sakura-chan? I didn't hurt you, did I? She smiled sleepily beneath him. No, just worn out. Naruto closed the bathroom door behind him as Sakura adjusted the shower's temperature, steam beginning to rise and fog the glass. He kicked off his shoes while Sakura pulled his shirt over her head and peeled off her soaked thong. She flung it into the hamper with a sharp flick of her wrist. Thanks to your magic fingers, my panties are drenched, Naruto, she scolded, but her tone held no real venom. Naruto smirked. Oh, don't act like you didn't enjoy it, Sakura-chan. Would you have preferred I shredded them instead? Sakura turned to face him, trying to give him a stern glare, but her lips twitched with amusement. Those are one of my favorite pairs. Don't get any ideas, mister. Naruto grinned, knowing full well he'd already gotten away with worse. With the teasing moment behind them, they stepped into the shower together. The warm water cascaded over Sakura's sore body, soothing her aching muscles and the stinging bite mark on her neck. She let the heat envelope her, closed her eyes, and exhaled deeply. The rush of emotions she had buried during the passionate reunion began to rise back up, unfiltered. What am I doing? She had barely given Naruto a second to breathe before jumping him. The very second she saw him, lust had overtaken logic. What kind of person does that? She thought bitterly. He had something sweet to say, he brought me flowers, and I didn't even let him finish his sentence. She pressed her hand against the tiled wall, trying to steady herself. Her heart was beating a little too fast now, but not from the warmth or the leftover desire. I have so much more to tell him, and yet, the first thing she had done was throw herself at him. Is this what I've become? Some starved girlfriend who can't think clearly the second he's near me. A pair of warm hands settled gently on her shoulders. Naruto leaned in and brushed his lips against her neck. Are you all right, Sakura-chan? His voice was soft, low, and full of concern. His hands slid slowly down her arms, and then to her ass, cupping him tenderly. Sakura swallowed hard. He can always tell when something's wrong. Even when I'm doing everything I can to hide it. Of course I'm okay, she lied, too quickly. Why wouldn't I be? Even as she said the words, she hated herself for it. Naruto didn't respond right away. His touch lingered but didn't push. You just seem off. I know you missed me. I missed you too. But this feels like more than that. Sakura bit her lower lip, her thoughts a tangled mess. I'm fine, she said, quieter this time. Really. I missed you. That's all. Then, Naruto smiled and leaned closer, gently on her earlobe. She couldn't help but giggle despite herself. Then I guess it's only fair I remind you just how much I missed you too, he said, pressing his hips up against her backside. And hey, we're already in the shower. It makes cleanup easy if I get you dirty again. She elbowed him in the ribs without turning around. No, Naruto. You mean you're not up for round two? He teased, his voice a low growl against her skin. Sakura chuckled softly, but shook her head. It's late, and I'm tired. I have to meet Tsunade-sama first thing tomorrow. Naruto let out a dramatic yawn. You're not wrong. I'm beat. You just got back from a mission, you know. You need rest, not another workout, she said, nudging him affectionately. Fine, fine, he grumbled, pouting a little. But no more excuses tomorrow. I'll be fully rested and ready. Deal, she purred, casting him a flirty glance. I look forward to seeing what you've got in store. He leaned in, grinning. You could find out right now, but since you're too tired. Sakura rolled her eyes and tossed a washcloth into his face. Try not to drown in there, Romeo. Sakura stepped out of the shower first, steam rolling off her body as she wrapped herself in a towel. She walked into her bedroom, slipping on another one of Naruto's black shirts. It reached just past her hips, familiar and comforting. She paused, listening to the soft splash of water still running behind her. Naruto had asked for a few more minutes alone in the shower, and she had agreed. Part of her suspected he just wanted time to really unwind, or maybe reflect in the quiet. She didn't blame him. The mission had clearly taken its toll. With a soft sigh, Sakura grabbed a pair of clean baby blue panties from her dresser and slipped them on. She busied herself tidying up, picking up his clothes, folding them neatly and placing them on her dresser. She dropped his forehead protector on top of the pile and placed his backpack next to it. Naruto always liked sleeping after anyway. Then she spotted the small wrapped bundle that had fallen to the floor. The carnations. Oh, Naruto, you're such a sweetheart, she murmured, guilt tugging at her chest again. She took them into the kitchen, emptied an old vase, rinsed it, refilled it with water, and placed the carnations inside. She stared at them for a long moment. He always thinks of me. Always. With the kitchen light flicked off and the front door checked, she finally climbed into bed. The soft cotton sheets felt cool against her skin. She curled into herself beneath the covers, her thoughts spiraling. I didn't even let him finish his sentence. She had wanted to tell him everything. She meant to. But the second she saw him standing in her doorway, everything else had vanished. Her body had moved on its own, driven by months of longing and aching loneliness. But shouldn't have been her first priority, not when she was carrying his child. She placed a hand on her neck where the bite had been. She had healed the wound, but Kurama's chakra made the mark permanent. A symbol of his claim. His love. And yet, with all that between them, she hadn't told him. What if he thinks I don't trust him? Or worse, what if he thinks I was trying to trap him? Her stomach twisted with anxiety. I should have said something. I was going to wait like Ino said, but it doesn't feel right anymore. Naruto had already sensed something was off. He always did. She sighed deeply and pulled the covers tighter around her. Her eyelids grew heavy, despite the storm of thoughts in her head. Tomorrow, she promised herself. I'll tell him tomorrow. But sleep took her before she could rehearse the words again. Naruto tilted his head back and closed his eyes as the hot water poured over his face. The steady stream beat against his skin, washing away layers of dirt, tension, and fatigue. It felt good, really good, to be home. Sakura had helped him clean up when they first got in, and he had returned the favor, both of them laughing and teasing through the motions. Now, though, with her gone and the room quiet, he let himself relax fully. Man, I needed this. Naruto sighed deeply. Yeah, the had been amazing, intense, unfiltered, but Sakura had been right. His body was spent. Kurama's chakra gave him faster healing, enormous stamina, and nearly limitless energy in battle, but even he had limits. This mission hadn't just pushed his body, it had burned him out mentally. And no amount of chakra could fully fix that. At least he was home now. Safe. No enemies. No sudden alarms. No orders. Just him, a hot shower, and the lingering scent of Sakura on his skin. He ran his fingers through his wet hair and let the water trace his sore muscles. Long missions ahead, but the welcome home. Totally worth it. A smirk tugged at the corner of his lips, until it froze. His eyes snapped open. Wait. I didn't wear a condom. He blinked up at the showerhead in disbelief. Shit. Usually Sakura was the one to double-check that kind of thing. She was on birth control, sure, but they'd always agreed to take extra precautions. And yet, neither of them had even mentioned it this time. The memory of it was a blur. Raw. Urgent. Real. They hadn't planned it, they'd just collided. And damn, it had felt incredible. Still, he thought, rubbing the back of his neck. That was a one-time thing. Can't make that mistake again. He shut off the water and pulled back the curtain. Steam spilled into the room, clouding the mirror and curling into the air. Grabbing a towel, Naruto wrapped it around his waist and stepped out, dripping water onto the tile. He wiped at the fogged mirror with his hand, smearing it clear enough to see his reflection. Man, it feels great to be clean, he muttered. He glanced around the sink for the spare toothbrush he kept at Sakura's. As expected, it was resting in the holder right beside hers. That small sight made something warm stir in his chest. Still, even after rinsing off, he could taste the copper tang of her blood in his mouth. He'd bitten her neck, and hard. Naruto frowned, guilt flickering across his face. I hope I didn't hurt her too badly, he thought, brushing his fingertips over his lips. But no, Sakura would have said something. She always did. Still, he'd have to check again tomorrow, just to be sure. He picked up his toothbrush and started scrubbing away, spacing out slightly while staring into the mirror. Once done, he reached to put it back, but bumped the holder, sending it wobbling. Whoa. He caught it with a hand before it tipped over completely and knocked his toothbrush to the floor. Phew. That was a close one. He set everything back in place. That's when something in the trash caught his eye. Naruto blinked. Something plastic, partially buried beneath tissues and the wrapper from his ramen cup. Curious, he bent down for a better look and pulled it out. It looked like a thermometer. No, not quite. He turned it over in his hand. A little rectangular window stared back at him. Two faint blue lines. His heart stopped. No, that couldn't be. But he knew what he was looking at now. A pregnancy test. 2 lines. Positive. The color drained from his face. His fingers went slack, but he managed to sit before his legs gave out completely. He dropped onto the closed toilet seat, still clutching the test in disbelief. His brain scrambled for something, anything, to say. But there was only one word echoing in his head. This is a pregnancy test, why the hell would this be in Sakura-chan's trash can? Naruto's hand trembled as he stared down at the tiny plastic stick. His heart pounded in his chest. Confusion swirled in his gut. What does this even mean? He rose from the toilet seat abruptly, water still dripping from his hair, and threw open the bathroom door. Sakura-chan. Is this what I think it is? No response. He stepped into her bedroom, only to find her sound asleep in bed, completely unaware of the storm he was caught in. Naruto stood frozen in the doorway, wide-eyed and breathless. The steam from the bathroom curled around him like fog. He ran a hand through his wet hair, tugging it back in frustration. This can't be right, it just can't be. She is pregnant, a lazy voice drawled from deep within his mind. Naruto flinched. You've gotta be kidding me, he muttered. Kurama. The Kyuubi yawned inside his subconscious, clearly unbothered. Now of all times, he decided to chime in. You really can be a naive idiot sometimes, Kurama added, tone smug. Naruto's brow twitched. What's that supposed to mean? I mean exactly what I said, Kurama said coolly. She's pregnant. That test confirms it. Naruto shook his head, stubbornly refusing the conclusion. You don't know that. That test could belong to Ino. Or even Tenten, maybe they were hanging out earlier or something. Kurama snorted. Her scent, Naruto. You caught it while you were mating with her, didn't you? Naruto's breath caught. He had noticed something different. Something he couldn't quite place. I mean, yeah, I thought she smelled and even tasted different, but wait. That's why. Yes, Kurama said simply. That's what pregnancy smells like. Naruto swallowed hard. When did it happen? Kurama chuckled, his voice echoing like thunder in the back of Naruto's mind. About a month and a half ago. Remember that night she was driving you crazy? Every little movement she made had you twitching like a virgin. Naruto's eyes widened. That night. He remembered it now, vividly. The intensity. The way her touch had nearly shattered him. How neither of them could stop. It had been wild. Animalistic. Absolutely unforgettable. Yeah, that was insane, he whispered. Because she was ovulating, Kurama said, far too pleased with himself. In my terms, she was in heat. That's why you both lost control. Naruto blinked, stunned. What? It was obvious, Kurama said with a stretch. The scent, the hormones, everything about her was begging to conceive. Naruto's jaw clenched. But I wore a condom. And Sakura's on birth control. We were careful. Human precautions mean nothing to nature, Kurama scoffed. Especially when a mythic being decides it's time to create life. Naruto stared blankly. Wait. You did something. I merely assisted. You wanted it too. Don't pretend you didn't, Kurama said smugly. I gave you a little chakra boost. Just enough to make sure your seed wasn't wasted. Naruto's mouth opened in disbelief. You sabotaged the condom. I made sure your instincts won, Kurama replied. It's what you truly desired. Naruto stood frozen, heart racing, his thoughts spinning in 1,000 directions. He looked down again at the pregnancy test still in his hand. I wanted this. Naruto stared blankly at the stick in his hand, then slowly sank onto the edge of the tub. His fingers were cold. Why now? He muttered. We've been together for over 3 years. We've had more times than I can count. Sakura ovulates every month, so why now? Why this time? Kurama sighed. Because your timing has never lined up, you idiot. You're always on missions. She's working constantly. Half the time you aren't even in the same village. Every time she's fertile, you're either exhausted, gone, or barely around long enough to kiss her goodnight. Naruto blinked, stunned by the clarity of it. You're saying, all this time, we've just missed the window. Yes, Kurama said dryly. But that night, last month, you were home. She was at her peak. Everything aligned. You were reacting to your instincts, idiot. My instincts. I merely gave us what we both truly wanted. Naruto stared down at the pregnancy test again. The two blue lines stared back at him. Unforgiving. This can't be happening. His breath came quicker. His knees felt weak. Why are you panicking? Kurama asked, tone sharp but calm. You should be proud. Our mate is carrying our pup. Or pups, depending on the size of her litter. Naruto nearly choked. Litter. What the hell do you mean litter? She's not some stray dog. Kurama snorted with amusement. She's strong, young, beautiful. She's the perfect mate for someone like us. She can handle it. And you love her. She loves you. So what exactly is the problem? I don't know. Naruto barked, suddenly on his feet, pacing the narrow bathroom floor. This wasn't supposed to happen. We weren't ready for this. We didn't plan any of this. He paused, breathing ragged, voice softening. I just turned 19, we were supposed to have time to figure things out, to live a little before this. I don't even know what kind of father I'd be. His gaze dropped to the stick again, the weight of it heavier than steel. What if I mess this up? For once, Kurama was silent. And then his voice returned, quiet, steady, ancient. Sakura cracked her eyes open and squinted at the blurry red numbers on her alarm clock. After a moment of fumbling, she rubbed her eyes and tried again. 5:45 a.m. Her stomach twisted almost immediately. Oh no, she muttered, groaning as the nausea surged. So much for yesterday's miracle. Her one day without morning sickness was officially over. She rolled onto her side and glanced at Naruto. He was snoring softly, sprawled across his side of the bed, completely dead to the world. Just seeing him there, safe, warm, home, brought a smile to her lips. But the tenderness faded quickly as her stomach lurched again. Sakura shot out of bed and half stumbled, half sprinted into the bathroom. She barely made it to the toilet before she dropped to her knees and retched violently. The sudden motion made Naruto stir. He blinked awake, disoriented and groggy. His brain was still booting up when he heard the unmistakable sound of gagging echo from the bathroom. His instincts kicked in. Shit, he mumbled, scrambling to get up, only to trip over the twisted bedsheets tangled around his legs. With a loud crash, he toppled face first off the bed and hit the floor hard. Son of a bitch. Sakura jolted upright from where she was crouched over the toilet. She whipped her head toward the bedroom just in time to see Naruto's messy hair pop up over the edge of the bed. He was rubbing his face, groaning, half and visibly confused. Their eyes locked. They both froze. The silence was almost comical, if it weren't so awkward. Sakura's face was pale. Naruto looked like he'd walked into an ambush and forgotten his kunai. Neither spoke. They just stared. Her mouth felt dry, despite the taste of bile in her started to bead on her brow. Naruto quickly broke eye contact, instantly avoiding her gaze, slowly stood up and shuffled toward her dresser. He grabbed his boxers and stepped into them one leg at a time like a man awaiting execution. Sakura watched in silence, unsure what to say, or if she should say anything. Just as she opened her mouth to break the tension, another wave of nausea overtook her and she doubled over, coughing and spitting into the bowl. She heard the soft sound of feet on tile behind her, then felt a warm hand settle on her back. Sakura flinched slightly, surprised by the contact. She turned and found Naruto crouching beside her, eyes cast downward. His voice was quiet, almost too quiet. It's the baby, isn't it, Sakura-chan? He hesitated, his fingers tightening just slightly on her shoulder. That's why you're sick, right? Sakura's breath caught. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stared at him. Naruto still wouldn't meet her eyes, his gaze fixed on the grout between the floor tiles, lips pressed into a tight line. He looked scared. Not angry. Not even shocked. Just scared and unsure. He thinks this is his fault. That I'm in pain because of him. Sakura slowly sat back, flushed the toilet, and reached for the washcloth on the sink to wipe her mouth. She took a breath, steadying herself. Then she turned to face him, cheeks flushed and nerves fluttering in her chest. It was time to say it out loud. How did you find out? Wait, no, that's not what I meant. She blurted, waving her hands awkwardly in front of her. I was going to tell you, Naruto. I swear, I didn't know how. Naruto sheepishly pulled something from behind the tissue box and held it up. The pregnancy test. I found this in the trash, after I showered. I kinda panicked. Kurama told me it was yours. That you're really pregnant. Her mouth parted in shock. What? Her voice squeaked. I thought I threw that away. You did, but I saw it in the trash can, he muttered with a tiny, awkward laugh. Then, rubbing the back of his neck, he added, I figured something was weird about you. During last night I could tell you smelled different. Your blood doesn't taste the same anymore either. Wait. That came out weird, didn't it? Sakura blinked rapidly, completely caught off guard. Quote. Wait, what? I still can't get over the fact that I bite you so hard, he said, waving his hands in front of him frantically. You know, when I get excited I can't help myself. She couldn't help it. She snorted. He paused, looked up, and when she smiled, he smiled too, nervously, but it was something. How long have you known? He asked softly. Sakura swallowed the lump in her throat and finally answered. Before your last mission, I missed my period. I figured it was just late because of stress or something. But then, the morning sickness started a few days after you left. I didn't want to believe it. I was scared. She looked down at her hands. I finally took the test 2 days ago. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you ever since. Naruto nodded slowly, then looked down again, gripping the test a little too tightly. I'm so sorry, Sakura-chan, he mumbled. This is all my fault. Kurama said you were in, heat, ovulating, and he did something. Infused my stuff with chakra. It broke through the condom. There was a long pause. Sakura stared at him. Okay, wait, what does that even mean? Naruto groaned and covered his face. I know how it sounds. I swear I didn't mean to make it weird, but that's what happened. Sakura blinked again, then shook her head. Only we would end up in a situation like this. Naruto dropped his hands from his face, laughing nervously. So, you're not mad? She tilted her head. Shouldn't I be the one asking you that? He looked up at her and there was so much vulnerability in his eyes, it made her heart ache. Why would I be mad? He said. If anything, you should be the one that's pissed at me. I'm technically responsible for all of this. They both stood there in awkward silence for a second. Then, Sakura said quietly, well, we're both kind of responsible. Naruto chuckled, then nodded. Yeah. Guess we're in this together, huh? She reached for his hand. Yeah, we are. Sakura couldn't hold it in anymore. Her lip trembled, and the tears spilled freely down her cheeks before she could even think to stop them. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms tightly around Naruto's bare chest, pressing her face against him as she sobbed. Naruto froze for a moment, unsure of what to say or do. The woman he loved was crying in his arms, and he had no idea why. His heart thudded against his ribs as he slowly brought his arms up and pulled her closer, resting his chin gently on the top of her head. "Sakura-chan," he said softly. "Talk to me." "I'm sorry," she choked out, voice muffled against his skin. I can't help it. If you need to cry, cry," he said quietly. "I understand if this isn't what you wanted." "No, it's not that at all," Sakura said quickly, pulling back just enough to look at him. Her eyes were red, but burning with sincerity. "I want this baby. I do, Naruto. I know it probably doesn't seem that way, the way I'm acting, but I'm happy. I really am." "Then why are you crying?" he asked gently, brushing a tear from her cheek with his thumb. She hesitated, then took a deep breath. "Because everything's going to change. And I keep thinking about you, how you'll have to put your dreams on hold. Your training. Your future. It's not fair." Naruto blinked, then let out a soft laugh. "That's what this is about." She frowned. "Don't laugh at me. I'm just surprised. Sakura-chan, life was always going to change. This is just a different version of that change. Plans don't always go the way we expect. Doesn't mean it's the end of them." She looked down again, biting her lip. "I won't be able to go on missions anymore, not for a while. You'll be the one supporting us. And I have no idea how you're going to juggle Hokage training on top of everything else. We'll figure it out. Together." He gave her a reassuring squeeze. "Ba-chan hasn't even given me a start date for training yet. And even if she had, I'd still want to do this. With you." Sakura sniffled and gave a weak laugh. "How are you staying so calm while I'm falling apart?" Naruto's smile faltered. "I'm not calm," he admitted. "Honestly, I'm scared out of my mind right now." Sakura's eyes widened. "You are? Hell yeah. I mean, we're gonna be parents. I've never even had parents. I don't know how to be one. What if I mess up?" Sakura touched his face gently. "Naruto, you have the biggest heart of anyone I know. You care so deeply, and you never give up on the people you love. That's all a child really needs. You're going to be an amazing father." "You really think so?" "I know so." Her voice was firmer now, steadier. "I love you, Uzumaki Naruto. With everything I am." He smiled, soft, sincere. "I love you too, Sakura-chan." She leaned against him again, her cheek resting against his chest. "I was terrified to tell you. Ino kept saying I was overthinking it, but with the hormones and everything, I didn't know how you'd react. But you've been so understanding. You have no idea how much that means to me." She hesitated, then admitted quietly, "I felt awful after our shower. I couldn't stop thinking about how I jumped on you the second you walked in, like was my first priority, not telling you about the baby. I kept beating myself up for it. I was going to tell you in the morning, properly, but then you found the test." Naruto tilted her chin up with his hand, his voice soft. "You don't have to feel guilty, Sakura-chan. I didn't exactly slow things down either. We were both just caught up in the moment, and honestly, I needed the closeness as much as you did." He leaned in for a kiss, but Sakura pressed 2 fingers gently against his lips. "Still have morning sickness breath," she said sheepishly. Naruto blinked, then grinned. "Oh, right." He kissed her forehead instead and gave her a soft nudge. "Go freshen up and come back to bed. You need your rest, Sakura-chan. Doctor's orders." "Probably." She chuckled, wiping her cheeks. Okay, okay. After she disappeared into the bathroom, Naruto climbed back into bed, folding his arms behind his head as he stared at the ceiling. He was going to be a dad. The thought still didn't feel real. He knew nothing about babies. He didn't even like babies, did he? Kurama's warning about the potential for multiples echoed ominously in his mind. He shuddered. Twins. Triplets. The bathroom door creaked open, and Sakura stepped out. Naruto turned to look at her, and for a second he couldn't speak. She looked so soft, so tired, and so beautiful. Everything okay, Naruto? She asked softly. He smiled, warm and sincere. Yeah. Just thinking about how lucky I am. Her cheeks flushed a delicate pink. Well, I think I've got a pretty great deal myself. She climbed into bed and nestled against him, curling her arms around his waist. He held her close, burying his nose in her hair. It still smelled like her, but with something new layered underneath. Something he'd need to get used to. The scent of his Sakura-chan, and their baby. Naruto woke to the familiar weight of Sakura curled tightly against him. She hadn't moved an inch since they'd fallen back asleep. He yawned and blinked the sleep from his eyes, wishing he could stay in bed just a little longer. But he had things to do. He needed to swing by his apartment, drop off his gear, and collect the rest of the money owed from his mission. He glanced over at the clock on her nightstand. 8:15 a.m. He groaned softly. I better get moving, he muttered under his breath. Carefully, he peeled Sakura's arm off his chest and slipped out from under the covers. She looked so peaceful. The last thing he wanted was to wake her. Sitting on the edge of the bed, feet planted firmly on the floor, Naruto took a moment to center himself before standing and moving toward the dresser. Just where he'd expected, his clothes were folded neatly and waiting for him. He slid on his pants one leg at a time, zipped them up, and quietly got dressed without a word. As he tied his forehead protector, he made his way to the kitchen. His steps slowed when he noticed the flowers he'd given Sakura now proudly displayed in a vase, fresh water catching the early morning sunlight. A warm smile pulled at his lips. Naruto yawned again and rifled through a few drawers until he found a small notepad and pen. He scribbled a quick note so Sakura wouldn't wonder where he'd gone. Once finished, he tore the page free and walked back into her room. He set the note gently on her nightstand, grabbed his shoes, slipped them on, and swung his backpack over one shoulder. Before heading out, he returned to the bed, leaned down, and pressed a soft kiss to her cheek. I love you both, he whispered. With one last glance, Naruto stepped into the hallway, closing and locking the door behind him. Outside, the village was bathed in sunlight, and the laughter of children echoed through the streets. Little boys and girls darted through the alleyways playing shinobi games, their imaginations running wild. Some hurled toy kunai, others attempted dramatic hand signs, pretending to unleash powerful jutsu. Naruto barely noticed when one small boy crashed into his leg and fell flat on the ground. The shinobi blinked, surprised by the impact, and looked down at the child rubbing his nose. Hey, you alright? He asked, crouching to check on him. The little boy looked up in awe. His friends quickly gathered around, their eyes going wide. Whoa, it's a real shinobi, one boy gasped. No, you dummy, that's Uzumaki Naruto. A girl corrected with pride. My mom said he's the one who beat Pain and Uchiha Madara. He's so cool. In seconds, Naruto was surrounded by tiny admirers tugging at his sleeves, marveling at his kunai, asking questions faster than he could answer. Children. That's enough, Leave Mr. Uzumaki alone, came a scolding voice. A young woman, maybe in her early 20s, jogged over, exasperated. The kids immediately scattered, returning to their play. One boy whispered as he passed by, "When I grow up, I wanna be a hero like Naruto." The woman sighed, shaking her head. "I'm really sorry. They're part of the daycare my grandmother runs. They must have wandered a bit too far." Naruto waved it off with an easy smile. "It's fine, really. When I was their age, being a shinobi was all I thought about." "I get it." Her expression softened, then shifted to something sadder. She looked down. "I just want to say, I'm sorry for how the village treated you growing up. I remember. Everyone was so cruel. And now they all call you a hero. It's disgusting how quickly they changed their tune." Naruto stood in front of his apartment door. He let out a sigh of relief. It was good to be home. He reached deep into his pocket to retrieve his keys. He quickly found them and unlocked his door. Hot air greeted him as he reluctantly walked inside. It was dreadfully stuffy in his apartment, but that was expected since it was summertime in Konoha. Add that Naruto hadn't been in his apartment in over 3 weeks, so his suffocating welcome home was expected. His poor place hadn't had any circulation since he'd left. "Man, I can never get a break," muttered Naruto as he noticed a thin layer of dust on some of his belongings. He threw his backpack on his bed and sat down. He reached for his cell phone that was on a bookcase by his bed. It was dead since he always left it behind when he went on missions. He grabbed the charger and plugged it into an outlet by his bed. This way Sakura-chan can get a hold of me if she needs to." He looked around his quiet apartment. It wasn't necessarily dirty, it was just hot and dusty. He was lucky that Sakura had come over before he had left to help him clean up. All he really had to do now was let the apartment air out and wipe all the dust off his furniture. It was a simple enough task, but he couldn't help but frown at the thought. Cleaning wasn't one of his favorite things to do. "Well, there's no point in beating around the bush. I need to get this done before I let Sakura-chan come in here." With that said, he got up and walked over to the window by his bed. He opened it and then flipped a switch on the wall that turned on his air conditioner. That should at least take care of the suffocating feeling this place has. Naruto then walked to his kitchen sink, bent down, and opened the cabinets below it. He pulled out a crate that had cleaning supplies in them. He never really kept anything like this in his place before, but Sakura changed that. She had left this box behind on her last visits. "Alright, let's get things started," sighed Naruto as he prepared for his cleaning mission at hand. Shikamaru stood outside Naruto's apartment building with 2 soft drink cans in his hands. He looked up to see Naruto's open window. "Looks like he's home," said Shikamaru as he made his way towards the stairs. Halfway up, he felt his phone vibrating in his pocket. He moved one soft drink over to his other hand and pulled out his phone from his. He checked the screen. It was a text from Ino. "Shikamaru, I've been trying to get a hold of Sakura for a while now and she isn't answering her phone. Since you're heading over to see Naruto, can you make sure everything is alright with her? Call me as soon as you find out what's up with her. Love you lots, Tiger." Shikamaru rolled his eyes. "God, she's so troublesome," muttered Shikamaru as he continued his trek up towards Naruto's apartment. When he reached the top of the stairs, he noticed that Naruto's door was wide open. Shikamaru peered inside his friend's apartment. The smell of pine cleaner was everywhere. He stepped inside to find rags and buckets of cleaning supplies everywhere. He carefully watched his step as he made his way to Naruto's bedroom. Yo, Naruto, where are you? Shikamaru heard the toilet flush and the water from the sink turn on. Naruto emerged soon afterwards. Shikamaru. Who else would it be? Smart. Here, catch, replied Shikamaru as he threw Naruto one of the cold soft drinks. Oh wow, thanks, I really need this right now. Both friends sat side by side on Naruto's bed. Naruto rubbed the cool can across his forehead before opening it up. He chugged most of it in one gulp. Someone was thirsty. Yeah, it's so hot today. Tell me about it. My place was a freaking sauna when I got home last night. You'd think it would be cooler since it was nighttime, but no, it was like walking onto the surface of the freaking sun. That said Naruto as he drank the rest of his soft drink. So then what's the occasion? Is Sakura coming over to inspect your place or what? No, I just need to clean all this dust off my furniture. You know Sakura-chan has bad allergies. Right, so you spent the night at her place, right? Yeah, why? Well, Ino has apparently been trying to get a hold of her for a while now. I just got a concerned text from her when I was coming up the stairs. Sakura hasn't responded to any of her phone calls. She wanted me to make sure that everything was alright. I left her just fine, she's probably still asleep to tell you the truth. She, kind of, had a rough night last night. Please spare me, Naruto, I'm not in the mood to hear about your capids. Oh no, it's not that, I mean we did have. And it was amazing, but isn't what I was referring to. You don't say. Well, that's a first. Ha ha, but this is serious. Alright, no more jokes, Scout's honor. Quote. So then what's going on, is she okay? In a manner of speaking, yes. Now what kind of freaking answer is that? A complicated one, Naruto groaned, rubbing the back of his neck. It's some heavy stuff, Shikamaru. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how to even say it. Shikamaru raised a brow, already suspicious. This conversation's heading somewhere I didn't expect. Yeah, buckle up, because it's about to get weirder. Shikamaru didn't respond. He took a casual sip of his drink instead. Alright, Naruto sighed. Best if I just spit it out. So here goes. Sakura-chan's pregnant. Shikamaru instantly choked, sputtering as his drink went down the wrong pipe. He coughed violently, pounding his chest with one hand. She's what? Are you serious? Yup. She's 100% preggers. How the hell did you find out? Did she straight up tell you? Not exactly, Naruto admitted. I found the test in the bathroom trash. Kurama confirmed it. She was throwing up this morning, that's what I meant when I said she'd had a rough night. A long, awkward silence stretched between them as they sat on Naruto's bed. Shikamaru stared at the floor. Finally, he broke the quiet. You weren't kidding. That's big, man. So what happened after you found the test? I was gonna ask her what was going on, but she fell asleep while I was still in the shower. Then I heard her puking and I confronted her. She broke down, Shikamaru. Total mess. Shit. Yeah. And get this, she was terrified to tell me. She thought she ruined everything, including my Hokage dream. Shikamaru glanced at Naruto, his face serious. That's understandable. Telling someone that kind of news, it's not easy. I told her she didn't ruin anything. That Bar-chan would work with me, and we'd figure it out together. She finally calmed down. So for now, we're good. So what's your long-term plan? Naruto blinked. Shit if I know. Shikamaru let out a low whistle. Alright, let's fix that. Be my guest. Anything you come up with will be better than what I've got, which is nothing. Okay. Two big things. One, you guys don't live together, and both your places are tiny. Yours is slightly bigger, but not by much. Once that baby gets here, you'll need more space. 2, that means saving money fast. Which means, more missions. Naruto nodded slowly. That actually makes sense. Nothing too crazy. I always imagined asking her to move in next summer. Crazy how life speeds up, huh? Shikamaru chuckled, pulling out his phone as it buzzed. His smile faded. Shit, I never texted Ino back. She's gonna chew me out. He answered reluctantly. Hey there, pumpkin. Was just about to call you. Naruto barely stifled a laugh at the sugary tone. From the shrill sound coming from the phone, Ino was clearly not buying it. I swear, Ino, you're gonna make me deaf in one ear, Shikamaru grumbled. What was that, mister? Nothing, dear. Can we not argue right now? You could have just called like I asked. I was going to, but I got caught up in a very interesting conversation. Well, something slipped that brilliant mind of yours. Who would have thought? Real nice, sweetheart. You know it, sugar. So, did Naruto tell you anything interesting? Maybe, shocking. Shikamaru smirked. Funny you should ask. Oh my god. He did, didn't he? Maybe. Maybe not. Should I really be spreading private info? Shikamaru Nara, if you don't tell me right now. Alright. Sakura's pregnant. There. Happy. Oh my god. I knew it. Is Naruto okay? How did she tell him? What happened? Whoa, hold it. I'm not playing messenger. If you want details, talk to Sakura. I'll stay here with Naruto. You're right. I need to go see her. There you go. Problem solved. Actually, I just thought of something fabulous. Can you stop by the shop when you're done at the Treasury office? Sounds like an errand. If so, hard pass. Hush. I'll see you soon, okay? Sure thing. Thanks, sugar. Love you. Love you too. Shikamaru hung up and shoved his phone in his pocket. He looked up to find Naruto grinning. You two argue like you've been married for a decade. It's actually kind of sweet. Sweet. That woman drives me nuts. But yeah, I love her. Or, the mighty strategist brought to his knees by love. Cut it out, Shikamaru groaned. So, have you gone to the Treasury office yet? Nah. You caught me before I left. Same. Wanna head over together? Sure. Just gotta grab my stuff. Naruto grabbed his phone and keys, making sure he had enough battery for the short trip. The two headed out, walking down the apartment stairs together. Shikamaru laughed at something Naruto said, and Naruto found himself smiling. It felt good, like maybe things were going to be okay after all. Sakura woke up to find herself alone in bed. She sat up and looked around her bedroom. Her boyfriend was nowhere in sight. Naruto. She waited patiently for a reply, but Naruto never answered. Where could he possibly be? I hope everything's okay. Sakura looked at her alarm clock. It was 11:15 a.m. She had really slept in. She was about to get out of bed when something by her alarm clock caught her attention. It was a small piece of paper. She picked it up and read it. Sakura-chan, don't worry, everything is fine. I didn't want to wake you. I have some errands to run today, so I'll be busy. I'll see you later on today though. If you need me, please call me. I'll have my phone on me. I love you both. Naruto. She was about to reread the letter when her phone began to ring. She could tell that it was Ino, what with the ringtone she gave her. She answered it, but before she could even say hello, she heard Ino barking an order at her. "Open your door, I'm coming up the stairs." Sakura shot up from bed and hurried to the door. She could already hear Ino's footsteps thudding down the hallway. Just as she opened the door, Ino launched herself forward and wrapped her in a tight hug. "Oh my god, Sakura. I just heard Naruto knows. I didn't think you'd have the guts to tell him right away. Congratulations, girl, you did it." Ino squealed. Sakura hugged her back, holding her best friend tightly. They stayed like that for a moment until Ino's constant bouncing made Sakura a little queasy. She gently let go, stepping back. Okay, settle down," Sakura said, laughing weakly. "So what happened?" "I tried to squeeze it out of Shikamaru, but he wasn't in the mood to play messenger. He told me to come over, which, in hindsight, was a pretty good idea. Leave it to him to have one of those every now and then," Sakura said with a smirk. "That boy is a smart cookie. Wait, aren't you supposed to be at the flower shop?" "I am. But I decided to take a 1-hour lunch. Technically I ate in the back room before leaving, but let's not talk about me. This is about you," Ino said, grabbing Sakura's wrist and pulling her toward the bedroom. They both sat on the soft mattress. "All right, spill it. I'm dying here," Sakura sighed, brushing a hand through her hair. "I acted like a feral animal when I saw Naruto. I literally tackled him. Then we had some amazing welcome home. You and me both, sister, but I'll tell you about that later," Ino giggled. "After that, we showered and that's when I started to panic. Naruto could tell something was off, but I convinced him I was fine. Or, I thought I did. Until I woke up completely nauseated. Ugh, rough. Tell me about it. I was such a mess, I made a huge commotion. That's when he confronted me." "What?" "He found the pregnancy test. I thought I hid it well enough in the trash, but apparently I didn't. He showed it to me when he confronted me." "No way." "Yes way." I was mortified, Ino. "I don't blame you. I figured you'd wait a bit before telling him. Having him find out like that definitely wasn't ideal." "Exactly. I was going to follow your advice and wait until he got settled, but well, things didn't go that way." "So, what happened next?" "We talked. I told him how I felt, and he listened. He was so understanding, Ino. Like, genuinely mature about it. I'm still in shock. Wait, are we talking about Naruto Uzumaki here?" "I know, right. But he really was calm and supportive. And after we talked, I felt so much better." "Wow. That's amazing. So you two are good." "Yeah, we're good. We'll probably talk more later today, but I think we're in a good place." "Well, that's perfect timing then. I have great news." "What kind of news?" "You won't believe it, but for the first time in 4 months, everyone's home. All of our teams are in the village. So, I'm throwing a last-minute party at my place tonight." A party. Despite the peace, the treasury building remained quiet. Not many shinobi passed through these days. Missions had slowed to a trickle. It was a strange irony. The more peaceful the world became, the less work there was for those trained to fight. No one longed for war, but peace came with its own costs. Naruto and Shikamaru entered the main office. Inside, 2 tables sat side by side. The right line issued new missions. The left handed out payments. They stepped into the payment line, which moved quickly due to the lack of traffic. Before Naruto could get lost in thought, Shikamaru was already up. He gave his name and registration number to the woman behind the desk. She flipped through a box of note cards until she found his, confirmed the mission details with him, then had him sign. Afterward, she handed him a Konoha stamped envelope. "I'll meet you outside," Shikamaru said, tucking the envelope into his vest. "Yeah, I'll be right there." Naruto stepped forward, provided his information, and signed the form. The woman handed him his envelope. This one had a note attached. Curious, Naruto opened it as he exited the building. "What's that?" Shikamaru asked, noticing the note. "Message from Bar-chan. She wants to see me. She probably wants to debrief about the mission. Maybe. Guess I'll find out. I've got to head out anyway. Ino has me running errands." Shikamaru sighed. Naruto laughed. "Catch you later." "Sure thing." They waved and parted ways. Naruto turned toward the Hokage's tower, opening his envelope as he walked. His eyes widened. He stopped mid-step. The amount inside, it was triple what he normally made. He counted again, then again. It didn't make sense. No one got paid this much for a standard S-rank mission, especially not a genin. He slipped the envelope into his pocket as he reached Tsunade's office and knocked. "Come in," came her voice. He entered to find her buried in paperwork. "Took you long enough," she said without looking up. "I wanted to congratulate you. Kakashi said some good things. Said you're growing up, and that you were a real asset to the team. Said you're no longer the immature brat we all knew." She finally looked up with a smirk. "You should be proud." "That's not the best compliment, Bar-chan." Tsunade chuckled. "You know what I mean. I'm proud of you. We are." Naruto nodded, still uncertain about the money. "The Kazekage sent a hawk this morning," Tsunade continued. "The intel your team gathered helped them track rogue shinobi causing trouble near their borders. You played a key role, Naruto. That mission mattered, for both our villages. That explains the letter. But not the pay. I've never earned that much before, even on harder missions. Someone must have made a mistake." "No mistake," she said, setting her pen down. Naruto blinked. "Then what's going on?" Tsunade let out a deep sigh. "Try to keep up, okay? This is complicated. All right. You've been a genin for years now. How could I forget? I'm 19 and still a genin. It's pathetic. It's not you. It's the council. They've blocked every effort I've made to promote you. They think it's in the village's best interest to keep you low profile. Why? Because you're valuable. Too valuable, in their eyes. They see you as a living weapon, our last resort. They think keeping you a genin limits your risk. That makes no sense. I've been doing S-rank missions for over a year. Because I fought tooth and nail to get you those missions," Tsunade said, voice firm. "If it were up to them, you'd still be catching cats." Naruto stared at her, struggling to believe it. "I pushed them so hard they finally claimed they'd change," she said bitterly. "They promised to give you harder missions, let you take the next Chunin exams. I thought I was finally getting through to them." She paused. Her eyes darkened. "But they cheated you. What? They paid you genin rates even for S-rank missions. For over a year, Naruto, you've been underpaid. Deliberately." The weight of her words hit like a punch to the gut. "I confronted them. They tried feeding me bureaucratic garbage. I'd had enough. I'm Hokage and I finally acted like it." She stood from her desk. "I changed your rank. As of today, you're a jonin." Naruto froze. "I'm a Jonan. Yes. And the pay matches. No more tricks. No more manipulation. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. It's long overdue. She returned to her seat, but Naruto didn't move. Ba-chan. How did you find out they were doing this? Tsunade paused, her hand hovering above her paperwork. There was a flicker of hesitation. You've always believed in me, Naruto said quietly. Even before I proved anything. Like Iruka-sensei. Like Ero Sennin, but tell me, do you still believe in me, now that I'm going to be a father? Tsunade's expression softened. She walked around the desk and placed her hands gently on his shoulders. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. It wasn't my place. But yes, I do. Why would you ask that? I've faced death. Self-proclaimed gods. War. But when I found out Sakura-chan's pregnant, I was terrified. More than I've ever been. Tsunade pulled him into a hug. Her voice was soft. Why do you doubt yourself now? Because I never had a father. I don't know how to be one. I've always had mentors to prepare me for battle, but not for this. A child isn't an enemy to defeat or a village to protect. It's someone who'll depend on me for everything. What if I screw this up? Tsunade held him tighter. You may not have had your parents, but you've had us. You're not alone. That's what matters. You have people who love you and will help you. All of us will. Naruto sighed against her shoulder, his voice muffled. Thanks, Ba-chan. They stayed like that for a long moment. Hokage and shinobi, healer and warrior, surrogate grandmother and terrified soon-to-be father. The sound of footsteps in the distance made Naruto pull away from their embrace. Shizune's on her way, Ba-chan. Tsunade gave him an appreciative smile. Thanks for the heads up, Naruto. Now, I need you to make sure everything is on track with the baby, so please tell Sakura to stop by tomorrow. Oh, and don't get too close to Shizune, she's feeling under the weather, we don't want Sakura getting sick. Understood. Just then, there was a light tap at the door, and Shizune entered, balancing a tall stack of paperwork in her arms. Laters, Shizune. Naruto called out as he zipped past her in a blur. Shizune blinked, barely catching a glimpse of his retreating form. She turned to Tsunade, puzzled. Well, someone's in a hurry, isn't he? He sure is, Tsunade chuckled. Naruto leapt from the balcony of the Hokage Tower, the afternoon air whipping past his face as he bounded from rooftop to rooftop. The sun had climbed just high enough to warm the tiles beneath his feet, but his thoughts were anything but light. His body buzzed with excitement. Tsunade had promoted him. Officially. No more council red tape, no more Genin level pay for S-rank missions. He was a full-fledged Jonin now. But beneath that excitement, a tangle of bitter thoughts gnawed at him. How long would they have kept doing it if Ba-chan hadn't stepped in? The council had known exactly what they were doing, underpaying him, manipulating him, using his status as a Jinchuriki to benefit the village without giving him what he was worth. Naruto clenched his jaw. He'd always thought the worst was behind him. After everything he'd done, everything he'd sacrificed, he was still being treated like some tool. But then he took a deep breath and let it go.